You don't have to see Hamilton the musical to know that the forefathers of this country had great foresight and wisdom in creating not only a stable government for their time, but a constitution and a system that could last well into the future. The fact that the United States of America is still here, stable, strong, and successful 250 years later is a testament to their wisdom. If that's true for this country, then all the more so for the prophetic law of the Torah that's over 10 times as old and still continuing and strong. What's at the basis of this success? We can take for granted the wisdom of the rabbis in confronting every new technology, writing responsa, creating interpretations, midrash, enactments for every generation. But if we want to know the source, the root of that, we can look at this parasha, where Moshe Rabbeinu, already the very first lawgiver, is confronted within his own lifetime of new situations that are not part of the original foundation of the law, but need addressing. And we see two of several examples in this parasha. And the first one is Bnei Gad and Reuven. They come to Moshe and they say, we know the plan was to go into the land of Israel across the Jordan, and each tribe has their sections laid out. But yet we have a lot of flock, and we want to remain on the eastern side of the Jordan. And at first Moshe is against the plan and gives an impassioned speech questioning them, and they seem to be seceding from the union. And this is going to be a terrible idea that's not going to have a future. But then through discussion, he realizes their sincerity. They say, we will come and we will fight with you. And Moshe says, okay. He compromises on that condition. If you come and fight with everybody else, then and only then you can stay here in this land. And so this was not part of the original plan, but Moshe sees that there is a need for it, and so makes an application and interpretations to account for it. And the second example, which Sefer Bimidbar ends on, is the daughters of Zelophehad. They have no brothers, and so their father, the inheritance law of that time was that only sons will inherit, and that means that their father's inheritance, his name, his legacy will be lost, will go to other members of the tribe. And so they petition Moshe, and Moshe hears and says, that's a good idea, and amends the law and says, from now on, not only can sons inherit, but if there are no sons, then daughters can as well. And we see the sincerity and dedication of these daughters in that because of this, they have to compromise their own marriageability. They can only marry now within the tribe. So it causes them a limitation, but we see that they're not asking this because they're greedy or want to get rich, but rather because they sincerely want to continue the legacy of their father on their land. I think it's no coincidence that these two confrontations, these two applications of a new situation where a future is at risk have to do with inheritance law, where the entire Berit of the Torah is founded on the land, and without land, we don't know what would happen. And so it's in these two areas that Moshe sees that we need to be flexible, and based on those foundations of Torah finds a solution. I hope that these examples will inspire us in our generation as well. As we confront situations, we're so lucky to have been through exile and back in the land. And now as we confront future situations and new requirements, I hope that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the insight to appreciate that fundamental foundation, unchanging, unfaltering words of the Torah, and upon that, the flexibility and the insight when we come with sincerity, with dedication, with love of everything that came before us. I hope our leaders today will also have that foresight, that wisdom to make decisions that will help us continue and succeed for centuries and centuries into the future. Shabbat Shalom.